G'day there guys, it's Connor here again, gracing your ears with some more stories from Reddit. Hope you're all having a fantastic day so far. Anyway, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Cheers. Alrighty, we're on Off My Chest. This one was written by user Mechanic Hungry, and it's titled, I'm leaving him, but I have to pretend everything is normal. My boyfriend and I have been together since 2022. The night after our first date, he got angry because his TV froze and threw the remote, slammed his bedroom door, shut off the lights, and told me he was going to bed, so I should too. I should have left then, but I didn't. He's continued having outbursts like this when angry or frustrated for the past 2 years. He would calm down and apologize, and tell me he would do better, and I didn't deserve that, and I would tell him it's okay. Summer of 2023, he quit his job, and shortly after we found out I was pregnant. I work as a waitress, so we were forced to move in with his family. He told me it would be temporary, but didn't even start looking for or get a new job until that winter. The entire time he expected me to have saved up all the money we needed to move, while also getting ready for our baby. We were finally kicked out of his parents' home due to his mood swings, which caused them to fight frequently. Our baby got here in spring of 2024, and 2 weeks later he quit his job, again. I've now been expected to pay all the bills, while also walking on eggshells to avoid his anger. The outbursts have ramped up since the arrival of my son, and he has been throwing things when angry, which usually results in my things getting broken. Last week he threw an insulated water bottle that almost hit the swing my son has just been taken out of. I've hit my limit. He will not change. It's been 3 months and he will not find a job. I'm tired of being scared in my own home. I'm tired of not being able to leave the house without him. I'm waiting until he has a job so I can leave while he's at work. I'm moving back to my hometown and getting a job there. I'm breaking my lease on the grounds of domestic violence. Until then, I have to act like everything is normal, while I gather resources and evidence. It's so hard to pretend, and it's so hard to leave. I feel guilty because I know he can tell I'm at a breaking point. He's selling his car that does not run for scrap so we can find ways to pay bills this month. He'll be stuck without a vehicle when I leave. I'm trying not to let that keep me here. I have to think about my baby and his safety. I have to keep it together until I can get out. Ah man, that's scary. And yeah, like Opie said, in hindsight she should have left when he first started exhibiting these signs of, lack of anger management. I'm sorry, but men who do this crap are cowards, man. Let's go to the comments. Waiting for him to get a job is risky. Your kid could be in kindergarten by then. Look for other opportunities. Opie replies, he has an interview on Monday that I'm praying and hoping pans out. He's also sick right now, so I might actually be able to leave the house without him tomorrow and let my dad know what's going on. He should be able to speed things along as well. See my original comment. I know what you're dealing with. Do not wait for the right time. There won't be one. It will drag on for years. Believe me, tell your dad. Tell someone who will hold you accountable. Don't keep it to yourself like I did for so long. Opie replies, I've told anyone I can trust to keep it from him, and that will help me. At this point, they're all on standby waiting for me to tell them it's time. Please just go the next time he's out of the house for a few hours. You're not safe. Your baby is not safe. The safety of the two of you is more important than your stuff. Opie says he's never out of the house. He doesn't work. He doesn't go anywhere. I can't even go anywhere besides work without him. He's just always there. Opie updates the next day. Small update, I was able to leave the house without him this morning. I've never been so happy to hear someone getting sick all night before, and went and saw my dad. My dad is ready to help me leave at a moment's notice, and has advised me to document everything I do for the baby to help with custody, because my boyfriend doesn't help much with the baby either. I am nursing at the moment, so thankfully he won't be able to have him but a few hours every other weekend anyways, and never overnight. He's also going to help me find somewhere to work in my hometown, and I may be able to stay with him if I can't find a place of my own when I'm ready to go. Yes, that's great news. Dad's pulling through. Okay, Opie makes an update 3 days later. I'm not exactly sure how updating posts on Reddit usually works, so forgive me if this is weird or not the norm. In the past 3 days, I've been able to inform everyone who needs to know of my plans. This includes my job in my leasing office. Because I'm moving back to my hometown, I'm having to find work there, but thankfully my managers are very understanding and supportive of what's going on. They first and foremost want me to be safe. My leasing office is helping me find a way to discreetly remove myself from the lease so I can get out. I've begun recording everything, either on my phone or in writing. My mum is helping me with plans to get an attorney for custody. My dad and stepsister are helping me slowly move things out of my current apartment, as my stepsister lives in the same town as I do and can take things from me and bring them to my dad to store until I leave. I've started applying for jobs in my hometown, as well as housing. I saw the comments warning me not to wait until he has a job, and you're right, but I do plan on waiting until I have a job to secure a future for my baby and myself. Thank you to everyone for the well wishes. Miraculously, since I've decided to leave, he's decided to act like the model father and boyfriend, but it's only been 4 days and I can tell that's waning. I'll keep you all updated as things progress. Wish me luck. Yeah, no backing out now. Okay, let's go to that update, a couple days later. The update you've all been waiting for. I'm gone. Yesterday morning a lot happened. He called his 5-year-old an idiot. I told his mum as soon as I could and she has him now. And I had to take my baby to the ER because his dad got him sick and it's turned into pneumonia. While at the hospital I was stressed and admittedly was a bit snippy with him, but the way he responded by saying, "Well fine, I just won't talk to you today, I'm done," sent something off in my head. I was done. This was my last straw. I needed to get out. That day. So I messaged my family. I had a small 20-minute window of time where he was leaving the house, and I was going to take it. All day I was patient. I slowly got our things together, covertly putting all mine and the baby's most worn clothes in a laundry basket under the guise of doing laundry later, and as soon as he was gone, I was out the door. I left a note explaining why I left, and laying out my plans for custody and getting the rest of my things. He tried to get a hold of me the whole hour drive to my family's. I did not answer, and probably will not for a while. I am safe, my baby is safe. Things are going to be okay. Phew, and that's all she wrote for that one. Can't help but feel like that's the end of the battle and not the end of the war. Opie answers some more comments. Oh, thank goodness, I'm so frickin' proud of you. You're an incredibly strong woman and wonderful mother. I don't know where you live, but where I live, character witnesses help in custody cases. Can you get the other mum of his older kid to write a statement against him, his family? They literally kicked you out because of his violence. I would be so scared to ever let your son be alone with him. If the judge is insistent on giving him some form of custody, I suggest you ask for supervised visitation. I wish you and your son the very best of luck. Opie replies, "Due to me nursing my son, he will never get him for more than a few hours at a time, and never overnight. I'll be asking for people to provide character witness statements though." And Opie responds to someone who missed the first post and provides more details. Please go read my first post where I explain why I'm leaving. He is violent. He has taken doors out of their frames while angry, punched holes in the walls. He regularly throws things across rooms without looking where they're headed. He almost hurt my 3-month-old baby doing this. This is not the only post I've made. And you'd like to know what was said? We were talking about how my baby needed antibiotics and the conversation went like this. Him. "And we don't even know how much it'll be." And I said, "Because he doesn't have insurance, I know." This is obviously an update. It says so on the title. I feel like perhaps you missed it, and that's why you gave such a rude response. You had no idea that I've posted before about how this man has been violent, about how he verbally, financially and emotionally abused me. You seem very quick to anger and judge in this response. I hope this can be a teaching moment for you. All the facts that I'm willing to share with strangers on the internet have been laid out. Maybe some context is missing. Maybe small details have been changed to protect my identity, but that does not give you the right to ignore the fact that this is not a first, not a second, but a third post in a series of posts. I just had to do one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, and you feel it's an appropriate time to accuse me of kidnapping my own child, who I have custody of to begin with as his unmarried mother. And my baby isn't sick with pneumonia because of another child. He's sick because his father was sick and wouldn't listen when I told him to leave him alone for a little while until he was better. So now my 3-month-old has fluid in his lungs. I'm sorry if I seem rude or upset in this response. I'm just confused by the lack of reading comprehension. Yeah, I'm curious as to what that comment actually said, but I think it's been deleted now. But yeah, fair response from OP there. Anyway, that's the end of that story for now. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Anyway, let's move on to another one. Okay, for something a bit different, we're jumping over to entitled people. This one was written by user Robin with A, and it's titled, "Our neighbours have been having pool parties at our pool while we are not home for years." A few years ago, my husband and I purchased a house with a pool. Now, we are acquainted with most of our neighbours, but definitely not close friends with any of them. They all seem nice, but well, just don't have much in common other than where we live. Next door to the right is a family of 6, twin daughters attending the local university, high school-aged son, and a young elementary school-aged daughter, maybe 1st or 2nd grade, and the parents. Now normally we open the pool in early May and leave it kept open until the end of October, but this year our weather was off and we had a very cool and very wet month of May, and then June went straight to 100+ temperatures. I'm currently on a medication that makes it difficult for me to tolerate being in the sun and heat for an extended time. Plus we've been helping 2 extended family members who are having health issues, so because of this we haven't had our pool opened yet this year. Normally we go to the family lake house for a week during each of the 3 major holidays, but we didn't go for Memorial Day because there was flooding around the lake this year, and because a family member was just discharged from the hospital yesterday, and July 4th being a Thursday this year, we decided to stay home this week and be available to help this family member. Now several times in June, the little girl next door has seen either my husband or myself outside, and she has asked when we're opening the pool. We first told her maybe later, but the last time, yesterday, she asked and I said we are probably just not going to open it this year, and she started crying. Now we have never had any of the neighbours over to use our pool, so I didn't understand why she was crying over us not opening our pool. Well, I spoke with the neighbour on the left later, and apparently our neighbours on the right have been having a small family party at our pool every 4th of July when we're gone. They've always cleaned up really well afterwards, and because we have scheduled pool maintenance and weekly yard service, occasionally things are moved around in our yard and we've never thought much about it. The neighbour on the left thought we'd given the other neighbours permission to use our pool. We did give them permission to retrieve any balls or toys that ended up in our yard, but never permission to use our pool, especially when we're not at home. We have a special latch on the gate, and my husband did show the neighbour how to open the gate to retrieve his kids' toys. So now my husband, who loves gadgets, is going to have several more cameras installed around the exterior of our house, covering the gate and pool area, and have the gate latch made where we can grant remote access for the pool service and yardmen. Luckily, we have a friend who does cameras and home automation systems. I'm annoyed our neighbours have been using our pool without permission, but my husband is happy I'm letting him get more gadgets around the house. Now, do we confront the neighbours and let them know that we know they've been using our pool, or just wait and see if they say anything about our new security cameras? Wow, I mean that's pretty slimy. Opie and her husband sound like pretty laid-back people, so I imagine if the neighbours just asked, then there might be a chance that they'd be able to use it, without, being sneaky about it. Like personally, I feel like I'd be more annoyed at the fact that they didn't ask, rather than the fact that they're actually using it. Let's go to the comments. I had this problem. When I left town, I put up a warning sign that stated the pool was being chemically treated and it was dangerous. Of course, I did no such thing. All I did was put up a sign. One day I got a call from an ER because someone snuck into the pool and claimed they were injured by the chemicals. I told the doc they were faking it, as the only thing I put up was the sign. Lawyer here, though not yours. You need to put up no trespassing signs, tell your neighbours they're not allowed on your property without explicit permission, and change the lock to the gate. Now that you know, you are on notice and could be held liable if they're injured visiting your pool. Sucks, but it will be much less trouble than a lawsuit. I don't know what would be more fun, to tell them up front to not use the pool, or to not say anything and next time you find them on camera using your pool, just calling the police for trespassers on your property to surprise them. I would also suggest you place no trespassing signage on your gate and around the fence, then watch your cameras. This way you can call authorities when you see them enter your property on camera, maybe even a smile you're on camera. And if the neighbour asks if they can come on your property to use your pool because their daughter really looks forward to it, you can hit them back with, "Oh no, we don't want to be liable for any injuries that may occur." Tell them they can certainly get their own pool if it's that important for their family. I used to have a pool and the upkeep and chemicals are not cheap. The entitlement of some people, wow. Yeah, never ceases to amaze me either. Let's go to the update. I didn't expect this to blow up like it has, certainly didn't expect over 1,000 comments. I've tried to read them all, and some were very creative and amusing to read. First of all, we don't want to hurt anyone or alienate our neighbours. We just don't want people using our pool without permission, and we don't want the liability associated with this activity. A few things I feel I need to clarify. Yes, our backyard is fully fenced in with 2 gates. One in back is double locked from the inside. The side gate on the side of the garage nearest the neighbours in question has a double latch that you have to reach over the top and find not 1 but 2 releases to open the gate. There is also an auto close that automatically closes the gate and latches it. I personally can't open the gate from the outside of the fence because I can't reach over that far to reach the 2 latches. The previous owner put this in and it's worked well for our yard crew and pool maintenance people. We do have some cameras, a doorbell camera and a camera over our garage area. The garage camera picks up if someone goes towards the gate from the front, but we didn't want to invade our neighbours' privacy by recording their side garage door and gate to their backyard. We even shared the camera angle with them because we didn't want them to be concerned about us recording their children or their coming and going. I guess we were more concerned about their privacy than they were about ours. Anyway, the update. Thursday, July 4th morning, I was loading a few things in my vehicle to take to my cousin who just got out of the hospital. Neighbour/husband, who has been gone a lot for work recently, saw me and came over and asked if I was getting a late start going to the lake. I let him know that we're staying home because we're helping my cousin who just got out of the hospital. He asked if we were going to be home all weekend. I said yes, one or both of us will be around all weekend. He quickly wished me a happy 4th and went home. I went back in to grab my purse and tell my husband about the conversation with the neighbour before I left. When I got home, our friend Mike was there. Mike does security cameras and home automation systems and gadgets, and my husband loves gadgets. Mike and my husband have a plan for multiple cameras and several gadgets, some of which involve us going ahead and having the pool opened. I agreed to all but one of the new cameras and almost all of the gadgets. I think husband put some in the plan knowing he would have to give up a few of them. Mike also suggested talking to our homeowner's insurance agent because we might be able to get some discounts with the security upgrades. So on Friday the 5th, Tom, our insurance guy, comes over, and Mike is back and he has a drone to help him find the best camera positions. Really, I think he just wanted to show off his gadget. So husband, Mike and Tom are outside and all around the house and occasionally inside. I look outside every so often, and at different times other neighbours have come outside and down to our end of the street. So neighbours want to know what's going on. So husband tells them we're concerned that someone or several people may have used our pool without our permission while we were not home. It turns out that 2 different neighbours had witnessed some friends of the neighbours' children come over last year, and they and the neighbour twins had gone into our backyard. One neighbour even asked the girls and they claimed that we let them come over all the time and use our pool. So at this point, husband and Tom discuss this, and Tom says we should send a registered letter to the neighbours rescinding our permission from entering our fenced-in backyard. So before Mike and Tom left, the neighbours on the right, the pool party neighbours, come home, both husband and wife. My husband asks to talk to them, and with Mike and Tom as witnesses, he tells them that for insurance reasons we are rescinding our permission for them or any member of their family or guests to enter our fenced-in backyard, and will be sending a registered letter stating this as requested by our insurance. Husband never accused them or their children of using our pool, but said we had reason to believe that in the past our pool had been used without our permission. He did say that we had reason to believe that their older children might be friends with someone who has been in our pool. Husband also told them that we're changing the gate to have an automated lock and cameras will be installed around the pool area. He also assured them that we avoid the cameras pointed at their windows or backyards. Husband indicated that we were taking these measures to hopefully lower our homeowners' insurance rates. Husband said that they exchanged a few looks between them, but they said they understood and appreciated the heads up. So hopefully this saga is over, but if there are any other updates, I will try and post them. Yeah, gotta say, a pretty solid, non-confrontational way to deal with this mess. I can't help but feel though that there was like a hidden understanding between the two parties here. A bit of a I know that you know kind of thing. Anyway, solidly handled. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Anyway, let's move on to another one. Okie dokie, we're jumping over to Am I Wrong? This one was written by user Eden Capwell, and it's titled, Am I Wrong? I was invited to a wedding, but there's a catch. I was so happy to see a wedding invitation in my mailbox. I pulled it out and a little note fell out of an index card, but I looked at the invitation first. It was truly beautiful, and I immediately stuck it to my fridge like the work of art it was. It was addressed to my husband and me, and I was beyond stoked. I love weddings. I tend to get teary-eyed and smile until my face hurts at the joy of new beginnings and all the love. I was even a wedding singer. That's how much I love them. I picked up the note card and read that while my husband was invited, I'd be in another room helping to babysit all the children there with several other female invitees. There's a special room for children at the church, and that's where I'd be. For everything. I'd still need to dress for a wedding in case I wind up in any photos, but I'd be taking my reception meal with the children, and I'd be with all the kids for the ceremony. Then there was a link for their gift registry. Oh, and the meals for my husband and myself would be $100 each, and we have a link to pay it when we digitally RSVP. The first problem here is that I am disabled at 50 years old. Legally, I use oxygen. I use a walker when I need to walk long distances. I sometimes have to give up the walker entirely and use a wheelchair. I'm not proud of it, but there it is. I could happily sit in a room and look at kids, but I'd be pretty useless to prevent a fall or stop a child from choking or anything else that would require me to move quickly. Second, my husband isn't the one who's been friends with these people since childhood. I am. Why would he be invited to watch the ceremony and to be part of the reception, but not me? My husband said he'd happily watch the kids and let me attend the wedding and reception, but the invitation specified that only other female invitees would be watching the kids, so I doubt they'd let him. Is this a normal thing at weddings now? Do you pick guests to babysit other guests' children? Should I call them up and explain my health situation, even though they already know it, and visit me during my multiple hospitalizations a year? I hate having to pull the health card, but honestly, what were they thinking? I confess that I feel offended and hurt that I'm nothing more than a babysitter to them who is expected to pay for my supper and babysit for free. Would I be wrong to simply tell them we won't be able to attend and to find another sitter? And if we don't go, do we still send a gift? What? I have never heard of this before. I would not be going if I was forced to babysit for the entire wedding. What's the point of going to the wedding when you don't actually see it? That sounds ridiculous. Am I missing something here? Let's go to the comments. Send your and your husband's regrets and don't send a gift. These people are clearly not the friends you thought they were. Everything about this invitation is just wrong. Not the a-hole, and consider re-evaluating your relationship with this couple. This is not normal. These people aren't your friends, accept that. You don't charge people to attend your wedding. That's just silliness. They want you to be an unpaid employee. Decline and do not send a gift or card. Why would it be wrong to RSVP with a not attending? And why would you have to send a gift to a wedding you're not going to? And who charges to go to a wedding then have the women babysit? Heck, I would not even waste the stamp on replying. If it's a digital reply, say no, then forget them. I have to say, the fact that you have physical limitations is quite frankly entirely irrelevant. It would be a dick move if you were fully able-bodied and in the best shape of your life. Just decline to attend and don't send them a gift. Yeah, I tend to agree with these comments. Okay, OP updates to answer some questions. I know these folks because my mum, rest in peace mum, and the bride's grandma were besties, so I grew up with the bride's mum as an almost sister to me. We went to school together, graduated together, worked at the same place twice, and have been super close since. The bride is like a goddaughter. At least I thought she was. I'm gobsmacked here. The church where they're getting married is a Southern Baptist church. They aren't members. None of us are overly religious. They just liked the venue and booked it. I've never been inside, but it's lovely on the outside, and apparently it has a childcare room that is big enough for a bunch of women and kids to hole up comfortably for a wedding and reception. We're all American. The groom's family is related to my family via marriage, and the bride and groom met at my house at a cookout a few years ago. I've always been way closer to the bride's family though. I knew that there had been a proposal. I got FaceTimed about 10 minutes after it happened, and my husband and I cried and laughed and wished them well and oohed and ahed over their story in the ring. I was expecting an invitation, sure, but not like this. The last time I had lunch with the bride's mum, she told me they're inviting around 200 people, so it'll be a large wedding with, I'm assuming, a ton of children. No, I don't hate kids. I love kids. I would have loved to have kids of my own, but my body just wouldn't do it. It took 2 miscarriages and a stillbirth to finally make me accept that it wouldn't happen for us. We're in the process of adult adopting 2 young adults that we brought into our home when we found out they were kicked out and homeless at 18. They lived with us for years, and we're making it legal. They call us mum and pop, and we're a family. I'm still considering my options. I've started and deleted multiple emails to the bride's mum. I'm a raw nerve right now, and my tone isn't the kindest. I want to keep it all in writing so there can be no he said, she said. I plan to ask if they incorrectly sent me the note about babysitting, since they know I physically cannot do that. But every inception of the email led with, "What the actual F, Donna?" So I need to think about it some more. Thanks for all the comments. I'm reading them all. Okay, now for a proper update. I spoke to my friend, the mother of the bride, and I'm pretty upset. I've been bawling for most of the day. She called and said that they were getting a lot of backlash from the wedding guests. No one wants to pay $100 for dinner, and only 3 of the women asked were okay with babysitting. I told her I understood that the guests were upset because it's just tacky to 1. Be asked to pay, and 2. Be told you're invited but only to babysit. I told her I would not be a babysitter, at all. No. Just no. She got mad and brought up how we were lifelong friends. She said I'd be helping them more by babysitting than I'd be helping by simply sitting in a pew watching. I reminded her that I couldn't physically help at all due to, being legally disabled. She said they completely understood that and expected me to simply supervise the other sitters since they trusted me the most. Again, I told her that I felt it was insulting to be voluntold, thanks Reddit for that word, that I'd be babysitting and that I had no desire to do that, especially not dressed in formal wear. Then we got to the truth. She said that she didn't know if I'd be in a wheelchair that day or require a walker. That's fair. I don't always know which one I'll need. She said that they wanted everyone in pews for the wedding video, and me sitting in a wheelchair would make me stick out and ruin photos and videos. I said, if I need a wheelchair that day, then I can move to a pew, and my husband can put the wheelchair in another room or back in our car. I may not even need it that day. Then she says, well, space is limited in the pews. You would take up the space of 2 people with your purse and oxygen tank. I said, no, I would not. I wouldn't bring a purse in, and the oxygen tank either sits on my lap or between my feet. It's like a little backpack. Then she said, well, having you on oxygen in the photos would be distracting from the other people. And there you have it. Words were exchanged and she hung up on me. I haven't been removed from any social media yet, but I fully expect to be. I already feel awful for being this way at only 50 years old. I didn't choose this. I didn't want this. If she thinks it's awful having it photographed, just imagine living with it, which is what I've told her before she hung up on me. I'm devastated. Just devastated. Man, I'll never understand why people get so hung up on the aesthetics of things like this. Like, first and foremost, you should be inviting people to your wedding because you want them there. How they look in a photo shouldn't change that. Like, if you don't want someone showing up in photos at your wedding, just don't invite them. Don't be a coward. Let's go to another update. I'm not in the greatest headspace. I don't think I've ever been less okay, honestly. I did not register to RSVP or communicate with them further, until another invitee got in touch with me and said that the mother of the bride, a person I thought of as basically my sister, was bad-mouthing me into the ground. I explained my side and our mutual friend was livid. They told the mother of the bride and the bride that they were wrong to want to exclude me because I might or might not need a wheelchair and would have oxygen on my face. I could remove the oxygen for photos, they told her. So the mother of the bride sent me a message saying, and I quote, "Well, if you're going to be butthurt about the aesthetic we want to achieve and try to turn other guests against us, then you can effing come and sit in a pew, but not in photos. And we'll try to get the videographer to do edits of the wedding vid too. But I won't forget how you made this difficult for us." I replied, "How did I make it difficult other than existing?" She replied, "You clearly told X about what I told you regarding your wheelchair and oxygen, and she's telling everyone else. We're getting a ton of hate." I said, "She asked me if I was attending, and I told her no and explained why. I didn't lie to her. I told her exactly what you said. You didn't tell me not to tell anyone your reasons. If they're valid reasons to you, then you shouldn't care who knows." So I'm now blocked by the bride, the mum, the dad, and the groom. A friendship I've had my entire life is over. A goddaughter that I helped nurture and care for is just gone now. We paid for the bride's car insurance, gas, and cell phone all through high school and college because we wanted her focused on just her studies and not a part-time job. Her parents got her a car, but insisted she work, but her grades fell when she did, and we helped her. And this is how they thank us. This is how they repay our kindness. I guess I'm a great friend when I'm giving money, but I'm not good enough to be seen. I've felt like a burden my whole life, and this has set me back so far. I'm just not okay. God, it's sad, isn't it? It just makes me so mad that people like this are willing to throw away, a lifetime of friendship over something like this. I feel like weddings should be in the moment. It's about spending the day with the people you care about the most. And photos and videos and who's in them or not is a way of remembering that. Like ideally, in the grand scheme of things, aesthetics is the last thing you should be worrying about. But that's just me. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Anyway, let's move on to another one. Okay, we're jumping on over to True Off My Chest. This one was written by user Liched Lovers, and it's titled, "I broke off from a friend group I've known for 7 years over a tab at Chili's. I, 20 female, have been friends with these two girls, Charlie, 20, and Alex, 19. We've been very close since middle school and get along and fangirl over the same anime, K-pop bands, artists, etc. One day we decided to go to our favourite spot, Chili's. We always separate the bill and there are zero issues. However, Alex decides that they want to invite a male friend, John, 18, which is fine with all of us. The food was good per usual. Then the server asks for split or one check. Then Charlie, who usually says it's separate every time we go out and eat, says all one. Which I thought it was just her feeling generous that day, but then they started giving John crap-eating grins. Charlie says, "John, you're paying for us all, just to be clear." John says, "What?" with visible confusion on his face. Alex and Charlie giggle, get up, and they leave. They signalled me to go as well, but I was just as confused as John was. WTF just happened. Me and John sit there awkwardly. The check comes to $125, and I tell the server to give us a moment to provide payment. I only had enough for me, $30, and John only has enough for him, $40. Charlie texted in our group chat asking if I was coming with them. I told them, WTF are they doing? Then they went on some BS that John should want to impress us and that it's a man's role to treat us like princesses or some BS. I thought they were joking, but they were dead serious. And upon me going outside to physically confront them, they were serious because they left me and John with no ride and the tab. I called my dad if he could spare me $60 and that he can just cut off my allowance for 2 weeks. I explained the situation, but he agreed with Alex and Charlie and said that this is John's problem now and not mine. It was like a scene out of a movie. I was in complete disbelief. I explained the situation to the server, who was super cool and said if he can't produce the payment now, I can just leave a number and they can charge me tomorrow. Out of one last-ditch effort, I called my uncle for the money and he immediately understood and sent me the money, and even said he would be there to pick me and John up. I paid the tab. I apologised heavily to John about the entire situation, but he was actually really chill and super grateful for what I was doing, because he only had $40 from his birthday money and decided to spend it with his friends. I get a text from Alex in the group chat asking if John paid for the tab. I said, "No, I did," and they got mad at me. Then my dad asked what had happened. I told them the truth, that his brother paid for the tab, and he got mad at me. Do I live in the Twilight Zone? Am I crazy for not wanting to ruin a friend's life over chilies? Anyways, after Alex saying, "I'm just not going to invite guys to our plans anymore," I left the group chat and blocked both Alex and Charlie. John also cut ties with them, and we've started talking more and more, and we sometimes play Fortnite together. Anyways, moral of the story, you think you know someone. What the hell? These girls need a good reality check. That is absolutely ridiculous. I'm totally shipping John and OP by the way though. Let's go to some comments. I'm a mum to both girls and a boy who are around your age. This is so wrong of your so-called friends and your dad. I would be so angry if this happened to my son. At this age, everyone should pay their own way, unless otherwise stated. Real talk, your ex-friends are trash and I have no idea how your dad thought it was remotely on John. What the actual F? You and your uncle are the two sane ones to not let John get victimized here. Good for both of you. Hope your ex-friends stub their toe every day from here on out. OP is a great person with a good head over her shoulders. Why do you think her friends didn't tell her about the plan? They knew she wouldn't do it. OP is a good person. Some people don't mature as they get older. OP is on another level. OP will find new friends like John. As you get older, you lose people that don't bring anything good to your life. You will keep the ones that are worth it. What OP's dad said and her friends did was effed up. Try not to depend on others to pay for your expenses. My advice, find a part-time job if you can. Don't depend on your dad's allowance. Save some money and use some to have fun. Wow, I cannot believe your dad was fine with this situation. You did the right thing and your friends were classless. Your friends and your dad are completely a-holes. John was under no obligation to pay for anyone but himself. To assume he's going to pay for everyone is just beyond me. Glad you had the class to stay and help with the bill. I would have told the waitress to split it 4 ways after those 2 dolts walked out. Then give the restaurant their information so they can be responsible for their own meals. OP replies, I was considering many options, but my main thing was I didn't want to make a giant scene in front of someone I don't even know. Easier options first, then harder ones. In reality, this probably would have been the smarter option. I don't blame you. In the heat of the moment, I would have done the same as you. I don't know if you've just spent a lot of time with your uncle or what, but I'm happy his sense of morality rubbed off on you instead of your father's. Yikes. You're not wrong. This is def some Twilight Zone crap. Unfortunately, people can always surprise you with things like this. I'm still learning more about others like this in my 30s. Good for you and John for becoming friends. He sounds like a good egg too. OP replies, my uncle said, and I quote while he was driving us back home, he can treat me like crap all he wants, but when he starts treating you guys like crap, is where I have no choice but to get involved. Your ex-friends are idiots and are on the road to a rude awakening if they think guys will put up with that kind of crap. You were right to cut them out. Your dad is a tool. How old is your dad? Because that's some boomer level thinking right there on his part. It would have been one thing if the guy had invited you all out and offered to pay, then reneged on that promise, but that's not what happened. This was sprung on him unexpectedly, so your dad is way off the mark with this. I'm glad you at least found a replacement friend for the 2 idiots, and your uncle is a real one. Next chance you're able, you should do something nice for him as a thank you for helping. Maybe treat him to lunch or bring him a favourite sweet. Nothing big, just something to show your appreciation for coming to your rescue like that when he didn't have to. OP replies, my dad is in his late 40s and he said that it's not your problem, so why the hell should it be mine? Not to throw him under the bus, but he has a huge crush on a particular man who is orange. Yeah, I think we all know who that is. Okay, Opie adds an edit. I should probably emphasize that me and John didn't even know each other before this happened. Second edit, yes, I am 20 and still get a $50 weekly allowance. I'm actively looking for work. Some of you guys are antagonizing my dad, but yet want to act like mine for not working. Third edit, people are asking why I didn't just pay for my own tab and give them my friends' numbers or addresses and call the police, yada yada. Is that what I should have done? 100%. But I felt like John was already visibly stressed about the situation, and I didn't want to escalate it to potentially more stress. I was thinking about John's well-being above everything, and having someone else to cover the rest of the money was the easiest solution for me. Probably not the right one, but the easiest for me and John. And Opie updates the next day. Me and John still play Fortnite and have been dabbling in Overwatch as well. He's actually a very funny guy who is open about his feelings. If we continue to connect, well, maybe I'll ask him on a proper date this go around. Through some casual friends I learned that Alex and Charlie think I'm overreacting and the same BS as before, that John should have wanted to impress us, and that John should have more money knowing he was going to eat out with 3 girls. Shocker. Yeah, it doesn't sound like they're growing up anytime soon. What are your thoughts about that one? Let me know down below. Maybe you got a similar story you'd like to share. Anyway, that's it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed those stories. Thanks for making it to the end, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day. Cheers.